Well, tonight's show's going to be a little different. Tonight, we're reviewing a rye. Not a high rye bourbon, a rye whiskey. A Jack Daniel's rye whiskey. And why would I be doing that? Because I helped pick it. Well, that's right. We're reviewing a rye whiskey. And why would I do that? Because I was one of the guys that picked it. You might remember a video we did a while back, kind of behind the scenes, tour at Jack Daniel and the barrel pick. Excuse me. Well, I went down with 6 others, so it was kind of the lucky 7 that went down or went up to Lynchburg and picked a rye barrel with Bridge Patel of Sprayberry Bottle Shop. And this is it. It finally came in. You know, sometimes it can take weeks or months to actually get the bottles. This is 133.7 proof. It is a single barrel proof rye Tennessee rye whiskey. So you've probably seen these before. Their barrel proof rye is very popular. A lot of them you see in the stores are just single barrels from Jack Daniel's and not necessarily a store pick. This is actually a store pick. We actually picked a single barrel. We spent a lot of time tasting 3 different barrels and picked this one as the best. So they give you all the information. They give you the barrel number on here and the date, and they give you this nice little, I don't know what you'd call it, a little placard there, brass placard to go on. And you know, I was really hesitant to go when Bridge said, oh yeah, we're going to pick a rye. And I'm going like, I don't even like high rye bourbon. Well, come to find out, it's the kind of rye, how they make the rye, not necessarily rye itself. I actually have a few high rye bourbons that I like to this day. My palate's been changing, and certainly it changed enough for this. So this show is going to go a little bit longer tonight. It's not going to be your typical Give Me 5. So it may go 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to throw some excerpts in from our actual barrel pick, just so if you hadn't seen that. There again, we're not trying to elongate the video, but I want to get you the full presentation of just how special this is. You'll see this Friday morning. We're filming it a few days before in the evening, so even though it looks like dark in the studio, it's bright when you're watching it, right? We're coordinating the release of the video with the release of the rye whiskey. So when you see this video, it should be available at Sprayberry Bottle Shop. The official release is going to be this, well, it's now, this Friday. So we've got it in our new Sprayberry Bottle Shop. It's like a big sniffer, isn't it? Oh man, you know, I'm still not a fan of ryes like some people are, but I was a fan of what we picked that day, and I think I'm going to be a fan. It's been a while. I think I'm going to be a fan again tonight. So, like Give Me 5 availability. Well, I see the single barrel rye a lot of places. And you won't necessarily pay a lot more for a store pick than you will just one that comes from Jack Daniel's. It might be a few dollars difference, but keep in mind who's selecting it. Your store, the guy you know, the guy you talk to, the guy that recommends bourbons and whiskeys has picked this rye, or if it's a bourbon, has picked the bourbon. They look a lot alike because they both have the gold labels, which tells you it's the barrel proof. So availability, I would say availability is actually good. Now this particular one, limited. Let's get into the aroma. Wow, you do get that rye spice. I mean, that's the first thing. You cannot ignore the rye spice. So you do get that, but not real peppery. I would say almost kind of like a fruity rye that is richer versus spicy versus hot. More fragrant, more fruity. Then I definitely get some vanilla and cinnamon and some other baking spices. And pretty simple. I mean, not very complex, but is a rich smell with that rye spice, that sweet rye spice. Let's not wait any longer. Cheers. Oh yeah, that pepper on the tip of the tongue, my lips are just tingling. You definitely get that rye spice, that pepper right in there. And it only lasts for a second, and then you get that rich rye flavor coming across, like a rich marble rye bread or a pumpernickel rye. A deep, dark rye kind of spice. It's sweeter than I remember. You know, originally when we picked the three, I think I picked the sweetest of the three. And I was kind of like outvoted for this one, which was my second favorite. This was a little spicier than the one I wanted. I actually picked a sweeter and less spicy one, and everyone else wanted this one. They thought it had a better balance. And not being a rye guy, well, I wasn't going to argue with them. I was just happy to be there, right? This has got a nice balance of sweetness and spice. You know, I have had it open for a while. I opened the bottle earlier today, and then I let this set covered for over an hour. I didn't want it to oxidize, so I put something over it, but I wanted it to breathe into the glass. And I can tell you that now that I've let it breathe, I'm getting no ethanol. I didn't taste any ethanol. I didn't smell any ethanol. All I'm getting is that rich rye spice. Let's take another taste. This is delicious. Now, if you're a bourbon guy, only like bourbon, this is an acquired taste. I would tell you rye, for me, has been an acquired taste. The other rye that I liked, that I was treated to a while back, I actually got a sample of, and that made me buy the bottle, was the Penelope Toasted Rye. It definitely is a sweeter, less spicier than rye, but it's like apples and oranges. It is a rye, but it's completely different from this. And I have to tell you that from what I remember of the Penelope, this is better. Now, does this taste like Jack Daniels? I don't think it tastes anything like Jack Daniels No. 7. Well, that's a bourbon, right? And this is a rye. Now, I've not had a lot of experience with Jack Daniel rye until I went down or went up to Lynchburg. But, oh man, I got that Kentucky hug going on. Whoa. That's nice. Well, you know, it is 133.7 proof. This is a sipper. Small sips. Now, you know, with me, I do like sometimes adding limestone water, a few drops, to cut the proof a little bit. And I might try that. But right now, I'm not needing it. I've got no burn on the back of the throat. It's not in any ways been displeasurable. In fact, it's been just the opposite. Nothing but pleasure from a rye. Times are changing at the Bourbon Riders studio. Well, what about the finish, Mike? You always forget about the finish. Not tonight. I will tell you, it's a lot different from bourbon finishes. You're left with a lot of spice and pepper in the finish, which I'm not a big fan of. But it's rye, so that spice is what you're left with some sweetness. I would say a little bit of leather and oak. It's not my favorite finish, but it is a good finish, and it is a lasting finish. I've been in between drinks here. I've been enjoying the finish. And like I said, not my favorite. I'd rather have more of a, brown sugar molasses or fruit finish. This is different. This is rye. I think if you're a rye guy, you will love the finish. I like the finish. I think you'll love it. So value, which is, is it a good value, a poor value, a great value? I think it's a good value. I mean, I see a lot of more expensive ryes out there, ryes that I've tried and didn't like. I know the value of this is going to be around $69, which is not unheard of for a store pick, whether it be a rye or a bourbon. $69 is pretty much a kind of medium price. And I don't mind paying $69 anytime for a good store pick. And this is a good store pick. Score. Well, I really hate to score a rye because I really don't have a lot of compare it to. What I normally score is bourbons and whiskeys, but certainly not rye whiskeys. So I will tell you that this is the best rye whiskey that I have. I have two, and this is the best. And I certainly recommend the product. I think it's good. The more I drink it, the more I like it, and who knows, maybe one day I'll actually be collecting ryes as well. If you're a rye guy, and especially if you were a bourbon guy that's getting into ryes, I think you need to try this. So I always tell people, if you can become a member of a Bottle Shop's reward program or group, whatever, Facebook, Instagram, or just going in and being a part and getting a text, be part of that group. Put your name in, put your phone number in. Tell your bottle shop proprietor you want to know about good things that are coming in. You want to know about store picks and barrel picks. And if you're ever offered to go on a barrel pick with your local bottle shop, you absolutely should do it. It is an experience you'll remember for the rest of your life. No kidding. It's just that much fun and that interesting. So, that being said, we hope you will like this video, comment, and share. And as always, please never drink and drive. Always drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time. And just to show you, there was 7 actual people that went and reviewed and picked this barrel, and here they are. Thank you, Bridge, and thank you, co-conspirators in getting this rye.